So when you are meeting with your leaders in a regular update, let's say you're having coffee together, what types of things do you do? This is a general overview based upon the 3/3 Bible study method or the Discovery Bible study method of what I do and what I think works well, keeping consistent culture from the 3/3 that you might do in your group to also using the same structure in your leadership development meetings. So the first thing that I do for this third is I just want to check in. I ask a simple question. How are you? How are you doing? This shouldn't feel like work. This is a relationship. And so we engage in that conversation. If it doesn't come up naturally, the next thing I ask is, what is God teaching you? When someone is walking with Jesus, that is not an offensive question. But when someone gets their back up about that question, it tells me about their heart immediately. What is God teaching you? Even if they aren't quite sure, someone who's walking with Jesus will have something to say. The follow-up to that is, what are you doing about it? If that's what God's teaching you, how are you walking forward in accountability? You see that based upon the 3/3 structure, this is care, and this is accountability. The third thing we want to do always is cast vision. Now when you cast vision, there's two things that I want to focus on here. The one is vision for the Great Commission. We definitely always want to include that. And the other is just about the importance of leaders and healthy leadership and why it's important to multiply so that the Great Commission is fulfilled. That's the first third. For the second third, we want to pray together for the things that were shared, and then we want to look at what God has to show us. So this is the look up section, whereas this is the look back. Now, based upon what they told me here, or here, will help me determine on the fly what we're going to look at here. Now, if you're going through a curriculum like the Commands of Christ or something similar to that, then you might already have a plan. But what do you do as time progresses and you're past those things? As people share with you about their marriage, or they share with you about a situation that happened at work, you need to know on the fly how to respond. And so this might be a tool that you need to remind them of. It might be a scripture to discover together. It might be a new training. But you need to be ready based upon your own toolbox, which of those things you need. This is why it's so important to be saturated in the scriptures, so that someone says to you, I'm really struggling with my marriage. You can say, let's look at Ephesians 5 together. Let's look at 1 Corinthians 13. Let's look at Genesis 2 and 3, the impact of sin upon a marriage. Those are things you need to have readily available to show them that the scripture has the answers. After doing that, it's time to look ahead to action. And so you need to, again, pray and ask God for wisdom about action steps. What does God want your leader to do in light of what he's trying to show them and what they discovered from the scripture? And who do they need to train and encourage these things in? And then make sure that you always take time to practice. And so you realize that by using this, you did all of the different parts of the discovery study, the 3/3 study. Look back, look up to God for wisdom, and look ahead. And you showed them that they don't need different tools for leadership development. Matter of fact, the same structure they're used to can be used to develop new leaders.